Hi there, in this video I will show some different tips and tricks on how to build a good looking storage in Windrose, while still keeping it at least somewhat space efficient. Let's get started. In Windrose you can stack storage extremely close together like this by showing the short end of a chest and stacking them on top of each other like this. I think you could even have a fourth row on top of these ones that you could reach from the floor. We have signs we can put on top of the chests to show what goes where, but unlike for example Valheim where you can write on the signs, here we only got a quite limited selection. And even though crafting draws directly from storage, it's kind of useful to actually know what chests contain what thing, because we have this really good quality of life feature called quick deposit, where we can just walk up to a chest, press Q and deposit every similar item in our inventory. So I think a good idea is to add additional visual clues of what goes where. So I both have the sign up here that shows that it's mining resources going here, but I have stones to the right hand side and I have put an anvil to the left hand side to show that metals go on the left hand side and stone goes on the right hand side. And this also increases, I think, the visuals of the storage. It makes it look better. So if you just want a very efficient storage area, you just fill up the whole thing with these type of tightly packed shelves with visual clues on top. But the thing is, we have kind of plenty of space for stuff in Windrose, and I think that by mixing both the type of containers we use as well as the different shelves we build to put them on, we can get a much more realistic looking storage area. Let's start with a really tight packed one, the efficient storage, and I think it's easiest to start with actually placing a chest, because then you see kind of how broad you need to make the shelf. And then start placing, free placing, in this case the mahogany pillar, but you can use any type of pillar. One here against the wall, and I think the next one maybe here. Then place all the storage down before you move on to the next level, because if you actually make the next level and the shelf before you place down the storage, it will actually sometimes be really hard to get the storage in there. Then it's time to put some beams there. Obviously you don't really need them, but I think they add to the look of it. And I won't put the beam over here nor here because I don't think it will be visible anyway. So I will place this one here in front of that beam or that pillar. It will look like this. This one is sticking out, so just remove that one and free place this one like this. And we can now see that this pillar should have been placed a little bit outward. And then we can place another mahogany beam over here. It should be like this something. And if we drag it out, it would be too far, so we can just remove this one, place this one here, and to make the corner neat, we can just free place the last one like this. Time to build the second level, and then we'll just free place with floor planks like this, drag them out, and then free place again at the corner, so I don't overlap here. Once you put more chests on, all of this won't really be visible, so I think it's enough if you actually put something over here, but of course if you want to be neat, you can kind of drag it out towards the corner as well. Snap new pillars to the first ones, and then place another row of chests. Another row of beams. You can see that the pillars stick up a little bit now, and that's no problem. If you want to go for a third floor, then you just have to adjust the height of them at the third floor, but I will just make this one 2 floors height because I want to show something else, but I will show how to adjust them for the third floor. So at the last level, instead of snapping them to the previous pillars, you free place them and lower them a bit, and there you go. Put the next level of planks on. And if you wanted to, you could just keep expanding upwards, but instead let's move on to the first of those visual clues. I think the anvil is a really nice visual clue to show that you got different type of metals in the chests below. But if you don't want the anvil on top to take up as much space, if you only want the anvil part or the iron part of the anvil to show and not the wooden part below, there's actually a way. Start by removing a few of the floorboards, like this, and one of the chests. Then grab one of the larger floor parts here and try to place it so it aligns a little bit above the handle of the chest, so something like this. You might have to experiment a bit to get it to the correct level. Then grab the anvil and place it on top of the plank and push it as far into the chest here on the right hand side as you possibly can. So something like this, and then check that it's at the correct level. It should actually be a tiny bit higher up. An easy way to solve that is simply by placing another set of planks on top of the first ones, so like this, and place the anvil back again. That looks like it's in level with the planks on top of the shelf, so we can now remove these ones. Place the chest back again, like this, and then add the floorboards on top. And there we go, the anvil is standing on top of the shelf. We could of course use the block stone as a visual clue that we have stone stored below in the chests there, but I think there's another option that looks a lot neater. Below the window and door section we got this arch beam stone that is a lot more elegant than the block stone. We can't really get it to snap in place, it will just go down into the material below, but if we place one like this first, then we can use that one to place something that is further out, like this, and remove the other one. Then we can use this one as well to kind of put new ones more outwards, so maybe one like this, and also one on top, something like this should look alright. I think this little pile of stone look a lot more pleasing to the eye than this big block over here, or you could use a combination. I've started on a bigger shelf over here because there is something else I want to show. So first let's place some barrels over here. So the reason I placed the barrels first, as previously mentioned, they might be hard to place if we already have the shelf on top, but also it's easy to see at what height we should put the shelf. So let's place a shelf over here, and I want the shelf to go in between like this and upwards. Oops. So something like this. Put the next beam in place, and it looks like it goes against the plank, so that's where I want it. And continuing upwards, and some beams on this side as well. You might have to change the placement a bit until you get them in the correct position. It's actually easy to place it correctly once you have something that isn't placed correctly. So like this, and this one looks a lot better positioned. Some of the stuff we can put on top of shelves will look like they're hanging a bit in the air, and I think the storage sack is one of the worst ones, but also the storage bale is not really sitting that well on top of the shelves. If we look at this, the sack there would only look like this if it was filled with air, so that's something we can easily do something about. So what we do is we remove this one, place a new one just a tiny bit below the first one, so something like this. Use this one to place your sack or your bale, and don't remove this one yet, instead connect this floor outwards. Now we can remove this one and connect the last one, and now it sits a lot better on top of the shelf. Let's continue with wood, and I will show two different types of wood piles, one for larger beams like this and one for smaller sticks. Let's start with the big ones. If you place it like this, you can see that it goes down into the floor, and that doesn't really look very good. But if we place one on top of it and remove the first one, it kind of sits quite good on the floor. So let's just repeat this process a few more times here. Remove the old ones. If we want to extend the logs, we can just place new ones like this and extend the first ones. But if we want to place new ones here on top of the first ones, it won't really work. It will just sink down into the floor. What we do instead is we grab a section of wall here, and we can sink it down with Z and scroll wheel into the logs below. It should stick up something like this and like this, and then we grab the beams again, and now we can place them on top like this and like this. Grab another wall section, and there we go, a neat little log pile. If the log pile is standing with the back against the wall, it doesn't really matter that small wall sections are sticking out here, but if you want it to stand freely, you can always just make the logs here a bit longer, like this, to hide those wall sections. Now onto the sticks with a similar approach. If we place them like this, they will sink down a bit into the floor, so instead we need to elevate them a bit from the floor. We do that by free placing some floor planks on top of the first ones, like this, then grab the sticks again. Now they look a lot better aligned towards the floor. For the second level of sticks, just free place another set of planks. You don't need to lower them into the planks. The normal height, the height you get from the get-go, is the correct one, like this. Place the second row of sticks. If you want some variation, you can always turn them around to the other side. Then just work your way upwards, and you can of course place those on the top shelf instead if you don't want to waste prime storage space close to the floor. For storing liquor, I think the liquor bottles here, or the liquor crate, in combination with using barrels works really well. For storing different type of animal products like skin and horns and such, I actually used this one. It's for design here. It's for clothes, but I think it looks like a hunter hat. But an alternative could be using one of the trophies, like this. I think you can come up with a lot more visual clues just using your imagination. If you have a good one, let me know in the comment section below. I will show one last one before wrapping up this video. I actually think that this large canopy here actually looks quite good if placed just below the roof and close to the wall. So something like, let's see, this. So it looks like it's hanging from the roof. And it gives me a clear visual indication that I got both rope stored there, but also different type of fabrics. So what do you think? Are you the type of gamer who just want a super efficient storage solution when you play crafting survival games? Or do you try to make your storage look somewhat good as well? Let me know in the comment section below. And also, of course, if you have some tips or tricks on how to make either really nice looking visual clues or other type of storage solutions, please share them in the comment section. The house where I built the storage, I actually got a guide for that one as well. It's pretty long, it's like 45 minutes, but it shows every step of the build process. So if you want to check that out, it's in the description below the video. That was everything. Cheers!